You may not see it. Well, you're not going to see it from there, so I'll have to move you over here. But I finally got that hole. Got the cylinder out of there. What a pain in the ass. It took me at least 2 hours of constant fighting with it. It just wore me out. It really did. But I wasn't gonna let it defeat me. So now I have this thing that I have to somehow get it to adjust a little bit because it's just off a hair, and I think it's adjustable. And then I got to try to get it on to this down here, which is not a big deal. However, this is that double-walled pipe, so it allows air to travel through the actual pipe in itself. It gets hot, but it allows an airflow in there. So that's a double-wall pipe. So if we look at that and we look at this, these things supposed to fit into that. Well, it doesn't. So I put all these slices in it the last time so that I can bang them in a little bit, as you can see that I did, so I can kind of get the pipe to go over. What I'm thinking of doing is opening them, because now, before that went up into the chimney, now because it's going into this, I don't want the fumes or the smoke or whatever it is, the rise, coming out of the chimney and going into it like this. Now I have a catch where it can sneak out. If I go over this with the pipe, you see what I mean? Then there's no chance of anything escaping as it's traveling upward. I think I explained that right to you guys. Basically, if I was to take this and put it on the inside, and the heat was coming from there to here, or smoke was coming from there to here, the smoke would have a chance to seep out of that because it's going in this direction. Where if I had this go over that, which this isn't going to go over, if I had this go over that, the smoke wouldn't have a chance to seep out because it's going to continue to travel up. I think you guys got the picture. Alright, now I also have this elbow, which is fine. The problem being with this one is, it isn't a double wall, and I hate to put this that close to the back of the stove. So I think I'm going to open those up a little bit first to see if I can get it to work that way, and then we'll take it one step at a time. I think that's recording up there, but meanwhile what we'll do is we'll just stick you up here just in case. Just in case the other's not recording. There you go. I had a bad night last night, man. I think I just did way too much today, yesterday. And in return, it just got to me last night because, man, I mean at 2 o'clock I'm still up, but I was tired as all hell. Now I'm up sometimes at 2 o'clock. You can probably tell by my replies, but I don't feel like I'm beat. I don't feel like crap. The other thing I need to get is I gotta go to the store and get some aluminum tape, aluminum duct tape. But that stuff works well and holds well. And I can use duct tape, but that's a cloth material and it'll eventually just start to burn or dry out completely. Alright, let me go over here, guys. Hold on. Should put the 360 camera over here. That'll probably be the best way to go, huh? That would be the best way. Why make it the best way? There. There. Okay, let's see. Fits like a glove. And it's gonna let me turn it. Good. I want this to go a little bit more. That actually looks pretty darn good, right? There. Okay. Good. Good. Yeah. Okay. Now I need a way of holding that there temporarily, so I'm going to have to put a screw in there. Yeah, I'll take you both with me. You can look around the shop. That's just sitting there right now. So what I need to do is I'm going to put a loop around that with a piece of paracord and then just tie it out in a round just to hold it there. Because once I start moving things around and until I get that screwed in, that'll just keep falling off and driving me nuts. So we'll let the 3D camera run for a minute. I'll be right back. This 3D camera, somebody had mentioned, I forgot who it was and I apologize for that, that they were looking for one. Because I paid $81 for that. It was on sale one day and I just grabbed it. And what was that, maybe, I don't know, not quite a year ago. But he said he was looking and they're like $225 or $250 now. And well, they used to be $275 and $250 and things, but they had that special on them. And I thought maybe, they were just coming out with a new version, which they may have. I don't know. They may have kept that style and just came out with a new version. But you do see that one, and if you're looking, that's the one you see. The problem being is, I find with it, is that it does okay with the 3D or the 360 stuff, but it doesn't keep a good charge. It runs down quick. It runs hot. Even when you're charging it, it runs hot. And they say that you can record on it while it's being charged. And I find that that doesn't happen either. Yeah, it starts to record, but like after 4 or 5 minutes, it stops. Now, that could be me with some of the settings, but I've checked them a few times and I didn't see anything there about settings to where there's a record time shutoff. But it's a double button menu type thing. You hit the button, then you hit the other button a half dozen times to run through that menu. Then you hit the other button again and you go through those menus. So it's one of those things to where it's a little bit, well, sometimes it seems confusing to me at times anyway. I mean, when I did the outside video with it that time the other day, it was blurry and everything. Well, a lot of that's because the lens was dirty. However, I did notice I had the the what do you call it, DPIs or whatever, dot per inch, or you know, the clarity. I had it on like the lowest number, which it should have been on the, you know, the HD number, and so that made it kind of like scatad. All right, let me go back over there, get some of that done, get the camera out of my hand, and I'll be back. Hey guys. Anyway, the wife came out and gave me a hand doing some things. And I told her she can go do what she has to do, because she's got a few things that she wants to get done in the house. And there are actually things that I try not to get involved in. So, I mean, if she needs me, I'll help her with it. But I do, yeah. What it is that she feels compelled to keeping paperwork for 7 years. So right now, she's going in there and start. Alright, so what I want to do, excuse me, is I'm going to cut two basically straps approximately 4 inches. And then I'll kind of show you what I plan on doing with them. Which you probably already figured out. Now here is a question for you guys that I feel stupid asking, but then again, I don't believe there's anything like such a thing as a stupid question. I have a yellow handle, you know where I'm going, and I have a green handle, and at one time I had a red handle. Now what I forgot is which is which. I can make an assumption that the green would be a left cut, the red would be a right cut, and the yellow would be a straight cut. And that's the way I think they are. So from left to right, green, yellow, and normally red, which I have no idea where my red ones went. But I think that's the way they are. I don't use them enough to remember, to be honest with you. Alright, now what I want to do is I'm going to smudge a little bit, if I can find a caulk gun, a little bit of fire retardant crap in here. Let me find a stick or a piece of plastic or something that I can use. There's an old piece of plastic. I use this as a squeegee. Ow. Yeah, cut yourself on the metal that you just cut, fool. Okay. You say so. Come on, come on, come on. Be nice. This should have a little angle on it, but because it's a little flexible, it seems to be working okay. I really need to pick up some aluminum tape. So I'm just trying to avoid leaving right now. So I'm going to try to get everything that I can get done today without the tape. And then tomorrow, when I go for coffee, I'll swing by Home Depot and pick up a couple of rolls. So this is a perfect example of not having something on hand when you need it. Now, did I know I was going to need it? No, because I really didn't plan on moving all this. However, if I had it, I'd be ahead of the game right now. Okay. So now, what do I want to do? Well, I wonder just how tight that'll hold. Let me put a couple clips on it. Clamps on it. Let me find a couple. I want to be able to get a little bit of a hold on it. And I'll tell you what, I don't care too much for these little ones. Yeah, they work for what they're made to work on. But, you know, sometimes I was doing something the other day where I just wanted to hold two pieces of plastic together while it was while I was gluing them together, and until they actually set. You know, now here I am, and this is doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. It tightens and releases. I don't know if you can see that or not. Absolutely nothing. This one held a little bit. Well, some of the big ones are the same way. If you got the metal bar, that helps. But those little plastic ones like that, and they even have the metal bars. But I do have a set of the Chinese knockoffs with the plastic bar as well, and that sucks. It's almost like it just doesn't want to catch. I wonder if I was to put a, now I might be able to fix this. Hold on. If you look at this, you have this little piece here that actually locks up. This piece here. So, if I were to put a notch or two in this, little notches, it would give that something to bite on. That might work. Let me turn the water off on here. I'm filling the boys water with some clean water. I washed out their bucket. I am going to try that right now, guys. So let me, here, I'll take you with me. Let's go over to the vise. Let me get a, this may not work on metal. I don't remember what blade is in here. I don't remember the blade that's in there, so let me see. I want to do the back side. Let's just do it this way, I guess, for now. Let's just see. That helps a little bit, but this blade isn't. Blade isn't made for metal. Okay, hold on a minute, guys. I don't want to use a full-size hacksaw because the blade would be too thick. Actually, the Dremel would have been the best, I guess. Didn't think of that. Let's see how this works. If it works, I'll just get the Dremel out. Let's find something to put it on. There, we'll take 2 pieces of plastic. Well, it actually seems to have held pretty good. Doesn't give a lot of bite, so they'd have to be really tight together, almost like you can just feel it. It has to be that close. But where I did grab it, it worked. This is the same one that wasn't working before. So, that may do it, guys. I may play with this with the Dremel later. Alright, so I'm going to have to take this over and nail the crap out of it because it's going to end up killing me with the little burrs. So I'm going to go back in there. I'm going to shut you guys off for a few. Alright, well anyway, what I had done was I just cut some of this off. Let me get that little piece cut. I'm not a perfectionist here, but somehow or other I got lost in my thoughts, or I was doing something, or a phone rang. I don't remember what it is. I know I was talking about the wife and paperwork. And like I say, for the most part, I leave her alone when it comes to that, because I personally think she puts more into it than what it's worth, or she makes more of it than what it's worth. Again, that's my opinion. But you know, I mean, if that's the way she wants it, well then fine. You know, just don't expect me to understand it, because it's not, to me, simplified. But to her it is, because you know she's always been in that executive mode, so everything was always done in that mode, which kind of makes everything to be a pain in the ass. And again, it's probably just me. So she measures and she keeps track of, you know, kilowatt hours and consumption and what the bill was last year at this time and what we're doing with it this year. And it's just, I mean, it's just her way. That's the way she's always been. So, go for it. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm doing here in a minute, guys. Come on, guys, leave me the fuck alone. We've been getting a lot of response from the article in the paper, and I'm trying to set it up so that we can meet with these people, these possible applicants, all at the same time, so we don't have to sit there and go through this over and over and over again, which is okay if that's the only way, but naturally, you know, we try to keep things organized, and when you're talking with a group, sometimes you get more accomplished because somebody in that group may think of something that may be important that the other ones may not have thought of. You know, so it's just like when I'm teaching firearm classes. You know, I do private classes, which is good, but sometimes it's not so good because sometimes that one person may not be getting the attention or out of what the other ones may ask. You know, if you got 5 people, one may have a question and think of something that the other 4 may not have thought about. You know, so now the other 4 just learned from that 5th question. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, I sent out a letter or a text to the e-board telling them that let's set it up for the Wednesday of the meeting. This way we don't have to go nuts with it. And we'll set it up an hour before the meeting or an hour and a half before the meeting. We can always call the meeting late. And then have it in a different part of headquarters. So if any of the members that do come, because we don't want members sitting in on the conversation of enlistment. You know, they will be introduced to the new members or the applicants once we've decided and we've talked to them and they've decided, because it's a two-side, they have to decide if they want to become part of, as well as we need to decide are they going to fit the mold. And the probation period. Because there is a 90-day probation period. Now during that probation period, you can do calls, make meetings, and do everything we do, just that you have no say in what goes on as far as an actual vote. Now, even though you're a new member and you're still under probation, you know, we're still going to listen, and you still have some say, because, you know, you're going to be a member, so we're not going to treat you like dirt and say, oh, you know, your word, your thoughts don't count. That doesn't work with me. Everybody has a say. You just can't vote on anything until you become an active member. And an active member is a member that's going to show up to at least 8 meetings out of the year. So that's 8 out of 12. If you don't, you know, and you make 6 or 7, but you showed that you tried and you made some calls, you know, and you made the drills, you know, you show interest, well then, okay, we can still count you as an active member. But if it gets to a point to where, you know, you're not making drills, you make a meeting, but you don't do any calls, that's not active. That's not active, you know? You know, and you make a couple of drills, that's okay, but not enough to where I would feel safe working with you. I would still have to watch over you. You follow? And sometimes on some of these calls, you don't have time to watch over somebody, you know? You have to be able to count on them to say, take care of this or take care of that, and knowing that they've been trained in doing it and they can do it. Because even though it's volunteer and it's fire police, it's hectic at times, and there's a lot involved, and lives can be on the line. All right, so we're pretty well set here. All right, let me show you what I'm doing over here. All right, so what we have so far, I got this rear chimney. Now this, again, is all wrong. It really is. This pipe should be larger and go over this pipe, not in the pipe. Because as the draft climbs, right, there's a chance of it escaping out of here. Where if this pipe went over it, then it wouldn't have the chance of escaping, because it would have to go up and then back down when the draft is taking it up. So it would be fighting against itself. So that is actually wrong, but I'll take care of it with some aluminum tape, and as you can see, some fire retardant caulk. And that's the chimney going out. And that one, I'd like to get it to go in and then across and then into that. I just got to make sure I try to get in it. So I got to make sure I can find the right pipe or elbow to get it to go in. If not, I may have to cut that a little bit so I can open it. But other than that, that's that. This is going to be a heat duct. Now don't look at the way that it's sitting here right now, because it is all screwed in. However, there is some just regular cloth type duct tape. That duct tape, don't think it's a duct tape that you can put on the hot pipe, you know, like that, for instance, because it really isn't. You know, that'll start to burn and crumble and not be any good to anybody. So on some of your output ducts, you can use it on, but I would prefer using the aluminum tape on everything. And I got to pick some up because I'm, again, out of it. And I keep getting a text. So this is going to come out, as you can see. I will run a support off of this pipe up to the ceiling, which is going to be an easy thing to do. I don't need a lot. Then I'm going to come across with an elbow across the top of this. I'll come out over here, and right about here is where it's going to be sitting. And there'll be an exhaust fan on a switch to blow the heat. Now to make that bracket or mount support, all I need to really do is to take this piece, bend the corner right here, just bend the end rather, put it in here with some self-tappers, and then screw it to the ceiling. And I'll just kind of hold it there. This is not going to be long enough, but it gives you an idea what I'm talking about. Alright, and I don't want to start running any weight off of that coming this direction until I actually get that strap on. So that's going to be my next step once I answer these texts that keep coming in when I tell them I'm busy.